Welcome to Determined Women of Destiny, powered by Rude Rangers Entertainment. I am your host, Yvonne the Motivator Man. This is the show that gives you the business, the good, the bad, and the beautiful of female entrepreneurship, providing business empowerment through inspirational motivation. Today, I have a woman with me that is doing some really great stuff in the art world. She has even had her stuff shown in a gallery, and she not only paints, but she takes her paintings and she turns it into jewelry. I want to welcome today Anne Marie Wholeness.
Thank you, Yvonne. So good to be with you tonight.
Now, tell us a little bit about what you do, about your painting, about your jewelry, and how the two came together for you.
Well, to tell you the truth, I work as a social worker in a shelter with males and veterans, and one day I decided, I want to help them because sometimes they're just sitting around, they don't have anything to do, or they get depressed, or they get bored. And so I decided that I wanted to run a paint group for them because I have a bachelor's in art and art therapy. And so I decided, I'm going to run a group for them and just see how they work with it. And if they enjoy it, then that will become a regular uh, art group for them to let out some of the steam and let out some of their anxiety and hurt or depression and so on.
So this really started to help someone else, and then it just blossomed into what it is now.
Absolutely. I mean, I've always been very, what do you call it, into art, into drawing, painting, designing, things like that. And but I never really thought of the art as a business because it was just something that I did and that I love to do. But then once I became a social worker, and I like to help people, and I can never stand seeing people hurt. And for me, art also became a way of expression, of expressing myself instead of sitting around being sad or lonely or whatever. Art is for me also like an outlet. When I paint, I turn on some music, I get in the zone, and I'm off.
When did you realize that the paintings that you had on the canvas, you wanted to put around people's necks and on their ears?
That came when someone asked me to buy some jewelry from paparazzi.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, my skin is very sensitive. So I realized that if it's not pure, either gold, silver, or something pure, that I couldn't wear it. And even some paparazzi, I found that I ordered some, but I'd wear it and my neck would turn black and my ears would turn black. And me being who I am, I love to create. And at that point, I just figured, you know what, let's try and see how this would work. And so I tried a few pieces for myself, and I would go out and people would ask me, "Where did you get that? Oh my God, that's so unique." And I said, "Yeah, I made it." And they would be shocked. They're like, "You made that?" And it's so nice. And I was like, "Yeah, I make it." And so that's how that piece of it started, you know.
For my listeners, if you go over to Facebook and YouTube on Thursday at 7 p.m., you'll be able to see her pieces. They are absolutely gorgeous. I keep saying I'm going to get one, and just they never just said, give it to me, Um, but I definitely want to make that purchase because they are just that one piece that you showed me with the purple, that
Hmm.
necklace with the matching
Right.
earrings. I fell in love with that. It was beautiful. And art makes you feel, you know, and I just saw that as being very tranquil and very peaceful. So
Hmm.
if you're going to wear a piece of art, at least feel, peaceful and tranquil with it. And
That's right.
hopefully that someone else that sees you wearing it, you will just emanate all of that to them also.
So the unique thing about my art and my pieces are that each piece comes from the art that I make first, but then each piece comes out totally different. So the color may be in the same, color pattern, but or color vibe, but the patterns for each piece is totally different. So you will actually be wearing a unique piece that nobody else will have. And they also they're stainless steel, because I can wear stainless steel and it doesn't bother me. So I figured, and then it's easy to clean, just a wet rag with a little bit of soapy water, not damp, and just clean it if you think it needs cleaning, and that's it. Never wear them in deep water, never wash dishes and stuff, never bathe with it or stuff like that. But, and they're pieces that you could probably keep for a long, long time by caring for them like that.
That is very interesting. So when you make a piece of art,
Hmm.
whatever's left over,
Yes.
that's what makes the jewelry.
Right, because the art making itself is unique. I'm not sitting and drawing, sketching and painting. I'm just putting a bunch of paint together and I'm pouring it at different angles, or and then manipulating the canvas and then to see what comes out. So that in itself is unique because you never know what's going to come out of the piece that you're making. And sometimes the colors are so like awesome and amazing, and a lot of people, they will stand in front of a piece of my art and a conversation will just break out, and then they'll be having these long drawn out conversations and everybody's trying to figure out what they see, and that looks like that, and oh my god, that looks like this, and which way does it go, can you put it that way? So I mean, it's you can look at it and figure it out to your heart's content, put it up, down, you make the choice of how you feel that you want to put it up when you do it.
So your art is abstract.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Everybody needs a piece of abstract art in their home. Because, like you said, it's a conversation piece. And, what I see, you may not see, or somebody else. Or every time you
Exactly.
look at it, you may see something different. So that's like really
Exactly.
cool. That's
Yeah,
a piece of art
exactly.
that's always ever changing, ever
Yeah.
changing. So, it's worth every penny. You can get the Mona Lisa, but the Mona Lisa only gonna be the Mona Lisa. That's all Mona gonna be is Lisa, But every time we look at a piece of your art, like you said, you can turn it different ways. So I may have it in the square 1 month. The next
Yeah.
month, I may want to, turn it to where the point is up at the top, and you
Yeah.
have like the star look,
Yeah. You could.
So whatever way you turn it, you can even change the look of the room with it.
Absolutely.
And that's what art is all about, to inspire and to change the way we look at the world and how we feel. What products that you have are the most in demand?
Um, the jewelry pieces, people seem to like a lot, and everywhere I go, they want pieces. I've literally created pieces for people on demand. In other words, someone said to me, "Oh, I want to get a set of jewelry for my man," and I wasn't doing jewelry for men. And with that person asking me, then I started making the cuffs for the men, and the money clip and the tie pin. So I have those now. Another person wanted me to create a set for their home. And it when you ask for something specific, it
Mm-hmm.
might be a little bit more, because then that's extra time, and then to create the look and the color scheme and the feel that you want. But those will take longer because but the pieces that I already have made, I will be doing something for the Christmas season, hopefully. Um, so
You'll have stuff for us to purchase. Are you going to
yeah,
have a Black Friday sale like everybody else?
I'm gonna do that. Yes, like
Okay.
yeah.
That's great. I like what you said about, you didn't start out to do anything for men. And then, you were given the opportunity to do it. And
Mhm.
so you thought outside of the box and you absolutely capitalized on a great opportunity and a venue that a lot of people may not be,
Right,
because a lot of people that make jewelry, they just make jewelry for women.
right. Or
They
they
don't.
only make certain pieces. Like
Mhm.
actually, when I started, I just thought, oh, a bracelet. Because when I buy jewelry for me, I always want earrings, a necklace, and a bracelet and a ring. So I try to get a set that would be all of that. And so I started with just earrings and a necklace and a bracelet. And then somebody asked for rings, and I was like, oh, I never thought. So
Mhm.
now I expanded that, and now I have the gold tone, the silver tone. So I do most of my things are in gold tone, silver tone, um, stainless steel. So gold tone, silver tone will go with anything. There are some pieces that I have that I will have the leather chain to it, and
Mhm.
simply some of them are a little heavier piece, so I don't do the silver or the gold sterling chain. Um, so yeah.
We'll be right back after this commercial break. And when we come back, I'll be talking to Anne-Marie about her recent exhibit at a local art gallery. We'll be right back.
Have you always wanted your own private chef? Doesn't that sound good? Well, stay tuned for Cooking with Chef Mark Anthony Bynum.
How you guys doing? Chef Mark Bynum with another Mark Bynum holiday cooking tip. This holiday season, keep your green vegetables green. Saute up your spinach in a little bit of olive oil, slice garlic, and throw some salt on there to finish. Blanch off or steam your broccoli, asparagus, your Brussels sprouts. They're very simply roasted in your oven, or you can roast them in a pan. What this does is helps you digest your food that you're eating so you don't get the itis. And then it also keeps your cooking time down. So you're not braising greens or something like that. It's healthier, it's faster. You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more time entertaining with your guests if that's what you want to do. Another item that you should do is caramelized onions and wild mushroom. I'm not talking about just Spanish onions. Go get some pearl onions or some cipollini onions. Just cut them in half and roast them in the oven. Wild mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, um, oyster mushrooms, trumpet mushrooms, and you can even get some portobello. Just scrape the gills out because you don't want that to spill all over your caramelized onions and mushrooms. Roast them in a pan or throw them in the oven. Some thyme, crushed garlic, super simple. Season it salt and pepper, and you'll love it. And you'll spend more time enjoying your guests and not slaving in the kitchen. Chef Mark Bynum, another Mark Bynum holiday cooking tip.
Welcome back to Determined Women of Destiny. I'm your host, Yvonne, the Motivator Man, and my guest is Anne-Marie Wholeness. If you're just now tuning in, Anne-Marie is an artist, and we've been talking about her artwork and her artwork that morphed into jewelry and her jewelry line that expanded to men's jewelry. And we're going to talk about now all of her exhibits that she has had. You had one that was a woman's empowerment exhibit, and where was that at, Anne Marie?
So when I first um brought it over into the business from just having it be a group for my clients, I my first showing and debut was at our women's conference in Washington D.C. This was our first conference we were having in Washington D.C. And it was just so amazing because people would come up to me and they would be like, "Oh, you're watching somebody's table," and I'm like, "No, this is my table." And they were like, "Oh, your table? Yes. Oh, you bought some art, and no, I created these." And the whole weekend, that was the question of the day. You made those? You made those? You made those? So people were so astounded, of what they were seeing. And I guess, the quality of, I pride myself in the quality and things that I do. And my pastor told me, "Wow, Anne-Marie, the presentation was wonderful," so that gave me a little push to say, yeah, let's keep doing this. And so that was amazing. That was amazing feeling, to showcase my first showing at that event, and it was a wonderful event. um yeah, so you want me to go on and talk about the
Yes,
other?
the next one. Yeah, I want my listeners to hear all of the good stuff you do. Now, the conference you were talking about, that was the Bread of Life World Outreach
Right.
Conference
Yes.
that they have every year. And I think for 3 years, that conference was held in Washington, D.C. I want to do a shout out. I go to church with Anne-Marie, and our pastors are Bishop Randy and Senior Pastor Gail Brown. And like she said, Pastor Gail is very good at pushing you to get to your next level.
Amen.
I think it's funny. Before you go on and tell me about your next exhibit, I think it's funny how everybody was in awe. Like you couldn't put paint on a canvas, right? Like, oh
Yeah,
my
like,
goodness,
yeah.
how did you do that? Like, what happened? Did a star came out the sky and just busted you in the head? And oh my goodness, I saw all these colors. Like, people are gifted.
And a lot of
People are
people
trendy.
a lot of people kept saying, "Oh my God, those marble pieces? Those look like, some of those look like marble pieces. Oh my God!" And it was just so funny because that was the question the entire weekend, every day for the whole weekend. You did that? Oh my God!
That must have been a great feeling.
It
But
was.
also, probably you were like, well, what you mean? Did I
It
do
was.
this? Like, yeah, of course I did it.
It
So
was.
what was your next exhibit that you had?
So Friday, November 8th last year, we had the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, because I am a veteran. They did a piece called "She Served," and it was women veteran artists. It was a women's veteran artist project. And so what they did was they took all the veteran female veterans, and they showcased their art pieces for a week in the Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City. and
Okay.
then
Hmm.
and then once that week was up, then they took your art and then they showcased it around the universities on Long Island. So my about four pieces of my actual art were out for a total of about a whole month, while it traveled around from New York City to Long Island. So that was amazing to see my stuff in a gallery on the wall. And I got a lot of comics from the curator, because comments, because they kept saying, a lot of people just kept stopping at your piece and they would have these long conversations. So that made me feel really, really good. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, awesome, awesome. And then when I showed up and people saw that and knew that I was the artist for the pieces that were hanging, then they began to tell me conversations of what their feelings were. Because the like you said earlier, the art it ignites certain feelings in different people. And what happened with that kind of made me just glad. One lady said that she was it brought back like a childhood memory, but it was a good memory. And when she saw it, and then she was trying to tell me, from the piece that she connected with, what it meant for her in her, from her childhood, and now seeing something that reminded her of a good time in her childhood. So a lot of the women use the art as veterans. They use the art to these people are women that have been in wartime situations, or they struggle with depression. They struggle. These are women that have in the military. We have military sexual trauma, where men are raped, and some of these women, this is how they release, their anxiety or the hurt, or battle scars per se. And so that was a really, really proud moment for me to do that.
Being trained in art therapy, it's safe to say every time someone sees a piece of your art, that's a therapeutic moment for them.
Yes, yes, and that's what seemed to have been happening in the galleries. Every time I presented a piece, I was always told, even I had a piece here on Long Island. It was in the Long Island, the Patchogue Gallery, for a month. And even though we had COVID and everything, it opened up and they had social distancing and the mask and everything. And they told me that my piece had a lot of visitors and a lot of comments, because it looked so, the piece I submitted, people kept saying it looks so ethereal, like it's something coming out of heaven, and they were trying to, name it or figure it out, or, and so, yeah, I'm glad that people are enjoying it, and I'm glad that it's causing people to come out of COVID world for a minute and go into another world, and try to gather that peace or that sense of calm, which is what I try to, all the pieces. I want them to feel what I feel when I'm making it,
I was
'cause
just I was just gonna ask that one piece that was in that gallery, and that was Art Space in Patchogue, right?
uh, that was the Patchogue Mogul.
Okay,
That's the main street in Patchogue.
Patchogue. Okay, that's
Yeah.
another art gallery. So they were saying, it was ethereal. So what were you feeling when you were painting that piece?
When I paint, it's like another world. It's just, I come out of where I am, and I just go to where God takes me, or I go to where, if I'm listening to a piece of music, or um and then just with the colors are what come together and makes um a unique piece. It's, every piece is unique. And and I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, so I'll dab a little something here and I don't like it, and then I'll dab a little something there, and then if I don't like it, I'll scratch everything and start all over, change up the colors. But the colors too are what speaks to you. Like, certain colors will be calming, certain colors will be fiery and upbeat, and when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, that's bright. And of course, I'm Jamaican too, so I love bright colors. So I'm gonna put a little bit of me, the Jamaican splash in there, so.
What has been some of your challenges that you've had to face being an artist?
um I remember going into a store to get some supplies, and I asked the lady to help me, and she was like, "Oh, somebody's gonna do some painting," and I said, "Yeah, I am." And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna because I was trying to get a drop cloth, because I have a very tiny apartment right now, and I literally paint on my kitchen counter. It's like one little slab kitchen counter, and I try to paint on that one little slab and not try to get paint everywhere. And so I was getting a drop cloth, and she said, "Oh, you're gonna paint your house?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm an artist and I do acrylic on canvas." And she was like, "Get out." She's like, "You an artist?" I said, "Why is that so?" She's like, "Because I've never met a Black female artist before," she said.
And you said, "Well, how you do, lady? How you do?"
Absolutely. So I said, "Well, hey, hello, it's nice to meet you." And so she thought it was this big honor, it was so funny, because she was just, "Oh my God, like I met a Black female painter." And it was like, to her, it was such an honor, and I'm like, I'm just this little girl in the in the store trying to buy some drop cloths so I don't mess up my floor. Um, the other part is just when I go to places, it's difficult because there's not another person like me.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I go to these things and I'm the only person of color that's there, female. And sometimes when I go to events, they'll ask me, "Are you a singer in the band?"
You're like,
Is
no,
that
that
all? Is that
15,
all?
you're like, no, that $1,500 painting over there, that's mine.
I'm like, is that all we're good for, to be singers in the bands? I'm like, no, I'm an artist. And then I would point out my art, and then they would be like, oh my God, we were talking about that piece, and so, and I was like, oh, I'm glad you like it. No, that's my piece. I'm the
And
artist.
here I am, the artist. So for
Yeah.
other Black female artists that might be struggling, what would you like to tell them to encourage them to keep on in their gift?
I would just say keep doing it and don't be afraid to I don't have a problem standing out. For most of my life, I was very quiet. You wouldn't, because I was brought up Jamaican. So when you're a Jamaican child, it's like, be quiet until somebody literally addresses you and speak to you. That is our culture. And so for the most part, you would never hear a peep out of me. I'm usually very quiet, very withdrawn. I really don't talk too much. You have to really like kind of get me out of my shell for me to like, come out. And so I just kept doing it and I keep pushing. And COVID kind of, put a little dent in how I could go out and go to the different things that I wanted to go to. But keep pushing, keep doing it. Don't be afraid to be the only one. Don't be afraid to, just shine wherever you go, and just do it and just shine, and don't be timid. And because like I said, when I go, I'm the only person, female person of color, and a lot of time I'm everybody's looking at me because there's sometimes I feel like they're probably saying, what is she doing here, but then I just stick my chest out and throw my hair back, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
always make sure to be cute,
Mhm.
so I might be the only person of color, but I'm gonna be cute, and I'm gonna rock it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear that. Like Lizzo says, throw your hair, check your nails, girl. How you
Yeah.
doing? Right? I
Yeah.
am here in living
And
color.
live in color. Yeah.
Wonderful. Tell us how we can contact you so people can start buying this art. Christmas is coming. Her Black Friday sale is coming. You want to know how to contact Anne Marie Wholeness so you can get this stuff before Christmas.
So I'm on Facebook under One Only Artistry, and it's spelled WUNOWNLY, which means you're getting one of a kind piece. And my email would be jachoness@outlook.com. So right now, that's the only way to get a hold of me. I think on the One Only Facebook, my phone number might be up there. But if somebody want to reach out to me, it's 631-384-2112. If they want to contact me that way. If you have Cash App, we can do the transaction right then and there. And then I could, get it to you, either drop it off or put it in the mail, however which way you want it, because I've had people from Atlanta, Georgia buy pieces, and I mail it to them and they get it. I can mail it to them where they get it overnight, and they just need to tell me what they're looking for.
This is fantastic. Service, service, service. She's going to send it to you. So just remember, COVID has slowed things down. With the holiday season, it's going to slow it down more. You better make your purchases like the first week in December to make sure that you have it in time for Christmas. I thank you so much for joining me this evening. Anne-Marie, you have given us so much information about what you do and your artwork and, how to get it. I appreciate you. And I definitely am going to get my piece because I want to wear my piece where people will have a conversation about my artwork around my neck and on my ears.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun and a joy.
Oh, I am glad. Well, everybody, I'm Yvonne, the Motivated Man. You've been listening to Determined Women of Destiny. The show is sponsored by Slinger Haskell Funeral Home. My creative producer is Rudy J. Breedy. And until next time, good people, like I always say, keep doing what you're doing until what you're doing gets done. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.